Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video is going to be a fragrance review from the house of Stephane Humbert Lucas, and this is from the 777 line called Oumma. So we're going to get into the fragrance. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the notes and what I get from it, and then we'll go from there. So this is the first fragrance that I picked up from this line from Stephane Humbert Lucas, and this one just really spoke to me, so we'll talk a little bit about it. But first of all, as far as the perfumer, this 777 line is supposed to be inspirational of his travels through the Middle East, and 7 is supposed to represent perfection, wisdom, and happiness. So all of the fragrances in this particular line, all of them have Arabic names, so they're all inspired by both the Arabic language and the Muslim religion. This particular one is again called Oumma, and Oumma in English just means community. So when you hear Muslims talk about the community of Muslims all around the world, they will say the Ummah. So that's simply the explanation for that. Usually all of these videos, I'm giving you simple explanations. So let's get into it. I just wanted to do just a little bit of an unboxing. I don't usually do this, but let's get into it. So it has a sleeve. Take the sleeve off, and this is the lettering on it right here. So the top part is gold, this one is silver, and when you open it up, you have the fragrance inside. So it's a very nice presentation. This one unfortunately was like the only one that really spoke to me, and it happened to be one of the only two that were the most expensive ones out of the whole collection, of course. So what are the notes? The notes in this one, the top notes are rose and jasmine, the mid notes are tolu balsam and Peru balsam, and the base notes are oud, cypriol oil, and cedarwood. Now, what do I get from it? When I very first smelled this particular fragrance, the first thing that I thought of was a bakur, was the incense that they burn here, but not any particular one. It was one that's called mahmoud, and I brought a couple of examples. I showed this in a previous video. Let me just show you the box. So from the house of Abdul Samad Al-Quraishi, they sell these little oud powder balls, and there's ones with different names and have different smells. So this is this particular one is called mahmoud, and mahmoud is just it's a cookie. It's a shortbread cookie which is stuffed with date paste or stuffed with walnuts or stuffed with pistachios, and it's served usually during the particular Muslim holidays. So after Ramadan, or I'm sorry, during Ramadan or during the Eid, which is coming up soon, which is the Eid al-Adha. So that's what mahmoud is. Now, as far as the incense, they don't smell like cookies, so I don't know exactly where the name came from, but this is what this smell reminded me of. So in here you have these little balls, and then you burn it and it's fragrant. So when I smell this, before I actually burn it, this is what Oumma reminded me of. And I have another one, because everybody in the souks, they sell a type of mahmoud. And here's another one. They don't smell exactly the same, but they smell similar. You know, it conjures up the same images in my head when I smell this. It's something that is it's powdery. It does have a little rose in it, and it's woodiness and a little bit coniferous. It does have some sort of like pininess to it, and it's a very, I mean, I love this scent. You know, me and my wife, we love this scent. And when the associate said that this smells like bakur, I just said whatever, because anytime I've been in a store and I asked them for bakur, which I've talked about in my previous videos, or something that smells like frankincense or things like that, they generally do steer me in the wrong direction. So I was like, whatever, but I shouldn't have been, because this is the same guy that pointed me towards mandala when I asked him for a luban. When I asked him for frankincense, he pointed me right to something that smelled like frankincense. So when I smelled this, I said, wow, this is really like the Mahmoud Bakur. This is that smell in a bottle. And it's just amazing to me that he was able to capture this in a bottle. You know, only unfortunate thing I think is just the price. But it's a very awesome scent. And when I was reading some of the reviews about it, because again, it's quite an expensive scent, and some people, I mean, it has really good reviews, so a lot of people liked it, and it was considered to be a rose oud combination fragrance. And it does have rose and oud in it, but I particularly don't consider it like a rose slash oud fragrance, just rose and oud. To me, I get more of the balsams from it. I get more of the incense from it without the smoke. That's what I get from it. I get exactly this. So it is, like I said, you get some rose from it, you get flowers, you get some sort of resinous from it, and a little bit of oud and woodiness to it, but it all comes together, and that cypriol gives it that almost piney but very light and powdery aspect to it, which reminds me of this Mahmoud that I keep talking about. Now, if I went to this place, you know, Abdul Samal Qureshi, or any other place that sold Bakur and also sold perfume, and I asked them to give me a perfume that smelled like this, they would probably spray a dozen of them on me, and none of them would give me what I get from this. So for me, I just think that this fragrance, Oumma, you know, I'd have to try more of the other ones. I don't know when I'll get a chance to explore any of the other fragrances from this house. The good thing about it is that they're significantly cheaper than this one, but for this one, this was a home run for me. Now, I'm not going to say that you can't appreciate the smell of this without smelling this particular Bakur, the Mahmoud Bakur that I'm talking about, but I have the highest appreciation for this scent because I'm familiar with this. Without that, I don't know how much I would like it. I think anybody would like this scent. It's a good scent. You don't really have to know anything about it. But for me, when you have these fragrances that remind you of something, they remind you of a time in your life, or they remind you of a certain situation, those are the things that stick with you. And when I smelled this, I was like, I'm not going to find another fragrance that is going to encapsulate this smell of this particular Bakur like this. You know, I wish I could find a cheaper alternative for that, and I'll definitely be on the search for it. But for me, again, this is a home run. This is a must-have for me in my collection. If you're into incense fragrances, if you're into burning Bakur, and you would like that type of scent in a fragrance form, then maybe you want to check this out. See if you can get your hands on a sample of it. If you're in the US, I know Lunky Scent, they do decants and samples and things like that. I would check it out that way before I would definitely blind buy this. Now, as far as the performance on this is great. It's a eau de parfum concentration, but the thing that I've come to find out is that you can have eau de toilettes that perform like eau de parfums, and extraits that perform like eau de toilettes. So, you know, you can always take these labels with a grain of salt. I thought it was going to be an extrait because of the price. Like, for example, Nefs from Nishane, all of their fragrances are extrait de parfums, but that particular one is an extrait, and it's also extremely expensive. It's more expensive than this. So, but the lasting power of this is very good. It projects well. As far as how long it's going to last on my skin, I'd say anywhere between 8 and 10 hours. But this is not something, this isn't really like a signature scent type of thing. This isn't necessarily something that you may not want to wear every day. It's something that I probably would just wear on occasion. I'll definitely be wearing it, you know, over the next couple of days. I'll be wearing it on Fridays, but I always have to keep things in rotation. But this is something that, for me, I had to do a review on, because this is a smell that I wished that I could find in the bottle. And I'm so glad that he pointed me towards this, and that particular sales associate really knows what he's talking about. Because when he sent me towards this and he said this smells like Bakur, this smells like Bakur. This smells exactly like this, and it is so awesome. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Have you tried anything from the house of Stephane Humbert Lucas? I know that I've seen some reviews about the fossilized amber one, and that's the same price as this one. All the other ones are on a lower tier as far as price. But what is your favorite from the line? Are there any other ones that I should check out? Definitely get your nose on this one if you're into those type of things. Me, again, I'm into incense and I'm into resins. So this is right up my alley, and the fact that it is so closely is reminiscent of this incense that I'm talking about. For me, this is just a love at first sniff. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one, and I'll see you later. Peace.